Hi, it's Dave from Cleaning Doctor Sutton Coldfield again with the second episode of my Cleaning Doctor Advice Clinic. And today we're going to talk about a regular type of spillage, and that's coffee. However, a coffee spillage is never quite as straightforward as you would imagine. There are literally thousands of different variables you need to take into account with coffee. For example, is it instant coffee, filter coffee, decaffeinated coffee? Was there milk? What type of milk was it? Is there sugar? Was it cold? Was it warm? Was it boiling hot? Was it knocked over at floor level? Was it dropped from a height? And that's before you come on to the different types of carpet that it could have been spilt onto. Was it wool? Was it polypropylene? Was it nylon? Was it a mix? So as you can guess, when we get a call for a coffee stain and you think it's an easy job to deal with, it's never quite as straightforward as you might think. Today I'm going to look at a fairly straightforward black instant coffee that is spilt onto a polypropylene carpet, and it's just been freshly made, so it's still relatively boiling hot. Okay, just to confirm, this is freshly made and freshly hot. Just a normal black coffee. Okay, let's give it a start. Okay, we're gonna take this straight in here, and here is our polypropylene carpet, and I'm just gonna spill a bit there, and spill a bit there. Let's make it about the same. Okay, there we go. Okay, so hopefully you learned a little bit from my first video yesterday, and you're going to try and blot rather than rub at the stain. Now, as you can see, it's coming out fairly well, but there is still a stain. Let's just do the other side. There we go. So it has mostly come out on both sides, but there is still a stain. So what happens next? Some people might reach for washing up liquid or any kind of detergent, so let's just pretend we're one of those types of people. Okay, so we're going to spread that on and then mix it in a little bit, and hopefully, because it's very liquid, or any other dishwasher solution, we're hoping it's going to do what washing up liquid does and clean the stain. So we're still learning from yesterday, and we're still going to blot. Now what we have is, I'll show you, a slightly blue stain. So now we might go and get a bit of water and put that on to see if that can get rid of the slightly blue stain. And this is the kind of thing we see all of the time. Okay, you're still blotting because you've still learnt from what I showed you yesterday. Okay, that looks a lot better. we're going to let that dry now because we think we've got it out. Now we'll look at the other side and what I would suggest. Okay, this is white vinegar, and what we are going to do is make up a solution of 1 part white vinegar. So I'm going to make 100 mils. There we go. 1 part white vinegar to 3 parts warm water. So this is warm water, and I'm going to top this up to 400. There we go. To the 400 mark. So we now have. Okay, so we now have our white wine and hot water mix. Here's the stain. Now I'm going to take this sponge and soak it in a solution, but I'm going to wring it out so that it's not absolutely drenched. And what I'm going to do is sponge this onto the area where the coffee was spilt. So I'm not drenching it because I don't want to push it through to the back of the carpet. I'm just sponging it on. Okay, and the acidity in this mix will help to break down the tannins in the coffee that was spilt. And as you can see, it's going away quite nicely. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to put on top of this at least a dozen layers of kitchen roll. Okay, and then I'm going to put on top of the dozen layers of kitchen roll a couple of old books, and I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to panic, I'm not going to scrub at it. So we'll come back tomorrow and see what's happened. Good morning, it's Dave from Cleaning Doctor here again, and we're just going to take a look at the 2 coffee stains that we tried to clean yesterday, see what's happened to them. First of all, if we look at the stain that we tried to clean using washing up detergent, as you can see, the stain has definitely reappeared. It looks a lot worse than it did yesterday. We've also got a blue mark in the middle of the stain where we applied the washing up detergent. And so we're probably going to need to call out a professional carpet and upholstery cleaner rather than putting anything else onto it, to see if we can rectify the situation. If we now look at the stain that we didn't panic on, that we applied the white vinegar and warm water mix to break down the tannins, and then put on a dozen or so layers of kitchen roll, a couple of heavy books just to weigh it down. So let's remove the books. Okay, moment of truth. And there we go. That stain has disappeared, and as you can see, the coffee, because the tannins have been broken down by the white vinegar and warm water mix, have been absorbed up into the kitchen roll, leaving almost nothing in the carpet, whereas this stain, unfortunately, there was nothing for the coffee to absorb up into, and so the tannins have risen to the surface. And so we'll see what happens when we try to clean out the residue of what's been left on this mark shortly. Okay, we're returning to look at these coffee stains now. As you can see, the one on the right we attempted to clean with washing up detergent is still very prominent, with a lovely blue central area where we applied the washing up detergent. On the left hand side, the coffee stain we used the white vinegar and warm water mixture to is still slightly visible, but certainly nowhere near as prominent as the one on the right. So we're going to try and clean them out now and see what happens. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is apply some pre-spray solution to both of these stains and let it sit for a few minutes. And you can see that's already starting to break up the coffee on both sides. So we'll come back in a few minutes and then flush that out and see what we're left with. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I'm just going to use my small spotting machine. Okay, you can see from that that the stains do appear to have gone from both sides, but what we're going to do is let that dry and come and have a look in a short while. Okay, let's take a quick look at these coffee stains that we rinsed through yesterday. This side is the side that we cleaned with washing up liquid and then rinsed through. We didn't put anything on top as it was drying after we rinsed it, and as you can see, there is still some residue of the coffee which is lifted as the moisture has evaporated, and we still have a bit of a stain there, unfortunately. Let's just take a look under this, which was, we applied about a dozen layers of kitchen towel again, a couple of old books, and there you go. As you can see, that stain has gone. I don't know if you can see in the towel, the slight amount of residual coffee that was left has now been absorbed into the towel, is no longer in the carpet. So this side, following the white vinegar warm water mix method to break down the tannins and to draw out the moisture, rinse it through and allow it to dry to just draw out the remaining tannins, has been, I'd say, almost 100% effective. This side with the washing up liquid, not so, this is now going to need further attention from a specialist, probably, to try and remove the residual amount of that tannin from the coffee. So I hope you've learned something from this little video, and you can see the difference in approaching things maybe slightly differently to what you may have done in the past. I hope you watch the rest of the videos in the series. Thank you.